Week 3 of the Diddy trial has just begun. After Kid Kai's testimony, the prosecutors are naming more and more famous celebrities who were at Diddy's parties and helped hide his crimes. TD Jake, Ben Affleck, Usher, and even Robert Downey Jr. have all been mentioned by the lawyers. They also say they know who was responsible for Diddy getting caught.
Ben Affleck actually recently walked away from J-Lo because these allegations were coming out.
And isn't there even some concern that, or proof that Pastor TD Jakes?
Well, I'm getting right there. So there's this big list that Diddy said, I'm not going down alone. Because Cat Williams went on a podcast a while back, and Cat Williams, who's a well-known comedian in the black community for a long time, he went on a podcast and basically just regurgitated all this information that was just so valid. And he said, all these people, he said, you got God on one side, and then you got the other side. And he said, the other side, they're all going down in 2024. And he mentioned that he was offered $50 million 4 separate times to join in with these Diddy parties to basically be sodomized. And he turned it down every time.
To help his career.
To help his career, to bring his career to the next level.
You're on a raft.
Yes.
In the middle of the ocean.
Right.
You look in the water.
That would give me so much anxiety. Go ahead.
Oh, this is about to give you more anxiety. You look in the ocean, you see 2 people floating.
Oh,
You can only pull up one because that's how much room you have on your raft. You look in the ocean, you see Ben Affleck, and you see Diddy. That's it! J to the L, give me 5.
Everyone close to Diddy was disappearing when it suited him. The same people who got rid of Diddy's enemies might now be coming after him. Interview 8. Jamie Foxx said that Diddy poisoned him, and this shows the industry is much darker than we ever thought. Recently, on an episode of The Joe Rogan Experience, Joe talked about the allegations against Diddy. Interview 9. Diddy has turned down the plea deal offered by the feds. The deal meant Diddy would
Clinton, President Obama, President Trump. I think these are 3 American presidents who really, really, really wish they had no connection to Diddy. But they all do. They all know him, appeared with him, partied with him. Clinton, Obama, Trump. And they're not the only famous people who partied and hung out with Diddy. Apparently there's like at least, 100 plus who are going to be named in his trial. Famous, shiny stars. We named some of them last night. We got a new one tonight, Iron Man. But we don't yet know what the connection is. Like, how are all these famous faces and names going to be connected to P. Diddy in his traffic trial? It's the kind of thing they're all freaking out about, right? And there are many unnamed yet. We're just finding out about them in jury selection. But I'll tell you what, the internet is freaking out and making its connections. Which shiny star had what connection to Diddy, and how could that end up in the case?
Yeah, I appreciate y'all. Thank you. And I just want to say how much I appreciate Puff Daddy for doing the kinds of work that he's doing, because he doesn't have to do this. But this is part of what is important about giving back.
We applaud you, and I want to apologize for not sweating, but I do this so much. I'm so cool. I just want y'all to see everybody I'm interviewing is sweating. I'm not even touching my brow. I'm so cool, and I want to apologize. I ain't trying to make you look bad or nothing like that, but I'm just so cool. We
T-shirt. I tell you, if he was wearing one of those fancy designer clothes he's designing.
The candidates are being asked about their own connections to or impressions of an array of celebrities, and with no explanation why, at least not yet. The parlor games have begun, my friends. Everybody is trying to connect the dots between the shiny, famous names and the beleaguered rap star Diddy and the charges. Just today, the name Robert Downey Jr. came up in court. Robert Downey, the actor, and Diddy apparently do know each other and have been seen together in public. But Robert Downey Jr. reportedly never attended Diddy's parties. So if he does figure into this trial somehow, it's going to be a lot of news to a lot of us. Mike Myers, another favorite Canadian, favorite actor, favorite comedian. He is on the jury question list as well. And that too is a tongue-wagging mystery. Unless it's about the quick jab at Diddy, that he took in the Austin Powers movie? I don't know. Doesn't seem likely. Rolling Stone magazine reports that actor Michael B. Jordan made the list because Diddy once threatened him for dating Diddy's ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. Same goes for the rapper Kid Cudi. USA Today says that Cassie's lawsuit claimed that Diddy threatened to blow up Kid Cudi's car.
One of the celebrities who has openly criticized Diddy and tried to stay out of the spotlight is T.D. Jake, the Dallas bishop. T.D. Jake stepped down as lead pastor of the Potter's House megachurch just days after it was revealed that Diddy got a plea deal for snitching on people he worked with. T.D. Jake is making excuses for why he was often at Diddy's parties, but no one is believing him anymore.
I do homeless shelters. I walk in prison ministries. I deal with murders. I deal with and kids because they're our children, our sons, and our daughters.
To many in the religious community, Bishop T.D. Jakes has been a spiritual advisor to presidents and a religious voice to thousands. Now he says it's time to pass the baton to a new generation.
This is a beautiful moment for me.
From the pulpit Sunday, Bishop T.D. Jakes announced that he was stepping
After it was revealed that Diddy got a plea deal for snitching on people he worked with. T.D. Jake is making excuses for why he was often at Diddy's parties, but no one is believing him anymore. Interview 3. Cat Williams exposed T.D. Jake's hypocrisy almost a year ago and said he would end up going down with Diddy. Now what he said is slowly being proven true. T.D. Jake was first named as an accomplice in Lil Rod's lawsuit, where Rod claimed Diddy used T.D. Jake's religious influence to improve his image. T.D. Jake allegedly helped Diddy get access to new victims and used his role as leader of the Potter's House to clean up Diddy's reputation.
Watch as Cat Williams calls out Bishop T.D. Jakes, and watch as T.D. Jakes and Gino Jennings' response.
I came in this business saying I was going to expose. When I talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. T.D. Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
Good, I'm good. I'm fine. I'm good because I know the truth.
T.D. Jakes, do not speak against homosexuality.
Miami Mansion Interview 10. Don Richards also testified against Diddy, saying he sexually abused her and violently beat Cassie in front of her. Richards described several times when Diddy was violent. She said one happened at a Central Park concert where she saw Diddy punch Cassie in the face with his fist. Richards joined Diddy's group, Dirty Money, after Danity Kane broke up. On the stand, she told jurors that in 2009, at Diddy's loss, Angela's home, she saw him hit Cassie with a skillet full of eggs. Richards said Diddy came downstairs asking about his phone, then threw Cassie to the ground and tried to kick her. Cassie fell and curled up, trying to protect herself. Richards added that besides hitting Cassie with the skillet, Diddy put his arm around her neck and took her upstairs. Then glass broke. Richards said, "Industry is much darker than we ever thought. I was scared." Recently, on an episode of The Joe Rogan Experience, Joe talked about the allegations against Diddy. Interview 9. Diddy has turned down the plea deal offered by the feds. The deal meant Diddy would admit guilt to sex trafficking, racketeering, forced prostitution, and drug charges. He would have gotten a shorter sentence, but it looks like that won't happen now. If Diddy goes down, he will take everyone with him. Jay-Z, T.D. Jake, Usher, and even Clive Davis could all end up in jail.
Richards says she wasn't alone in witnessing Sean Diddy Combs' abuse. During her second day of testimony in the music mogul's federal trial, the 41-year-old described an alleged 2010 incident of Combs punching then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura at a West Hollywood, California restaurant and said Usher was also a witness to the event. During her testimony May 19th per NBC News, which had a reporter in the courtroom, she said, quote, "Mr. Combs punched Cassie in the stomach. They were having a private conversation and then he punched her in the stomach. She immediately leaned over and left. In addition to Usher, Richard, who was a member of the girl group Danity Kane, which was formed on Combs' show Making the Band in 2004, alleged that other musicians, including singer Neo, record exec Jimmy Iovine, and rapper Big Daddy Kane were present as well. When Richard and Ventura got into a car to leave after the alleged restaurant incident, Richard said another physical altercation took place between Combs, who has pleaded not guilty to all charges, and his then-girlfriend. She continues in her testimony, quote, "We got in the car to head back to her house. Combs grabbed her, slapped her, popped her in the mouth, and told her to shut the f*** up."
Image. TD Jake allegedly helped Diddy get access to new victims and used his role as leader of the Potter's House to clean up Diddy's reputation. Interview 4 Usher, who was Diddy's protege, is also being exposed. During her testimony last week, Cassie said that Usher saw Diddy and her many times and helped Diddy cover up his actions. Don Richard, a former member of Danny Kane's group, also said that Usher saw Combs Ventura in 2010 at a restaurant in West Hollywood. Mr. Combs punched Cassie in the stomach during a private conversation. She immediately bent over and left.
For their one-time relationship. His rep telling ET, although Justin is not among Sean Combs' victims, there are individuals who were genuinely harmed by him. Shifting focus away from this reality detracts from the justice these victims rightfully deserve. Bieber's questionable connection to Diddy piquing interest online as the rap mogul's indictment for sex trafficking and racketeering charges, which he denies, made headlines. Old clips of the two hanging out while Justin was underage resurfacing.
Let's just go get some girls. Let's go hang out some girls.
Man after my heart, that's what I'm talking about. We hit him like this, so me and you walking, we hanging out, a little later on the night after the Usher concert.
There's also this old Jimmy Kimmel Live segment, adding to fan fears about what might have gone down with Diddy.
Got me a Lamborghini.
That's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last time.
He had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
Oh, apparently not.
Some things, everything ain't for everybody.
This all comes as Bieber's followers are worried for him, the singer's erratic social media posts causing concern week after week, the Beliebers asking if what he...
Another big celebrity in the same situation as Usher, but who didn't stay silent, is Justin Bieber. Justin was allegedly abused as a child when he was about Usher's age. Diddy took custody of Justin when he was 13, and during that time, Justin was allegedly violated. Justin was with some of Hollywood's biggest names, and there is video proof of this. A few days after the trial started, Justin released a statement saying he knew something serious was going on behind the scenes. Interview 6. Billionaires like Kanye West and Jay-Z didn't speak out, and Kanye is still supporting. Puff. Kanye was also mentioned in the trial. Was it because he was involved? Here's why Michael B. Jordan, Kanye West, and other celebrities were named at Sean Diddy Combs' trial. When jury selection started May 5th in New York for the mogul's sex trafficking case, NBC News said prospective jurors saw a list of over 100 names of people and places that might come up in the trial. The list included actors like Michael B. Jordan, Mike Myers, and rapper Kanye West. These celebrities are not accused in the case, but jurors were asked if they knew any of them and if that would affect their fairness. Lawyers didn't explain why the list was shared. Women who sued Combs were also on the list, including his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura. Her sexual lawsuit from November 2023 was settled just one day after it was filed. Don Richard, a former member of Danny Kane's group, also accused Combs of sexual assault in a lawsuit from September, and he was on the list too.
Sues Diageo. Diddy filed a lawsuit accusing Diageo of neglecting the De Leon brand, racial discrimination, claiming they marketed it as an urban product and failed to treat him as a true business partner. Then in January 2024, they settled out of court. Diageo and Diego settled the dispute out of court. While details still remain sealed, the settlement marked the end of their business relationship. So this is from 2007 till 2024, 17 years. Could they have protected him? I don't know. Their CEO currently today is Deborah Ann Crew. She was a former intelligence officer in the military, once intelligence officer, forever you're an intelligence officer. Who knows what happened? We don't know the relationship. We're not going to make any accusations. All we know is, could this have been a protection where they were at the parties and they knew things that were taking place and are like, wait, what do you want to do to us? No problem. Boom, drop the bomb. I don't know. All I'm saying is the timing, it's kind of strange. Maybe even they wanted to kind of be like, look, we know what's about to be dropped on this guy. We want to have nothing to do with you. We're out. Here's some money. You stay quiet. We'll pay you, but we want to get out of here. The only thing that the timing's kind of crazy is January 2024, they settle. 2 months later, remember what we're sitting there doing and minding our own business? And you hear, March of 2024, the feds are raiding Diddy's Miami home and his LA home. For what?
Member of Danny DeCane's group also accused Combs of sexual assault in a lawsuit from September, and he was on the list too. Combs denies all the accusations. Reports now say the real reason Diddy got exposed is because he lost the protection he once had.
Well, Pierce, let me ask you a question. From your journalistic perspective, have you ever noticed how in this industry, people untimely meet their demise as soon as somebody else seems like they're having a problem? Have you ever seen that before?
Well, there was, of course, the case of one of his other ex-girlfriends, Kim Porter, who died of pneumonia at a very young age. You just referenced your own situation with pneumonia that you believe was deliberate poisoning. Do you believe that may be what happened to her?
Why are so many people coming down with pneumonia? Why is that happening to everybody? What is that about? Where have you ever seen this many cases of pneumonia associated with one situation? So, you know.
There were rumors.
I'm not saying.
Well, I was going to mention on this that there have been rumors circulating online that Diddy may have poisoned Jamie Foxx, which caused his 2023 hospitalization. In his Netflix show, he compared Combs to the devil in revealing his near-death experience after a brain bleed and stroke. He said, I say this all the time. I saw the tunnel. I didn't see the light. It was hot in that tunnel. I thought, have I gone to the wrong place? I looked up at the end of the tunnel and I thought I saw the devil saying, come on. Or was that Puffy? I'm effing around, but if that was Puffy at a flaming bottle of Johnson.
2 months after Diddy lost his contract with Diageo, his whole world fell apart. Could Diageo have had a role in Diddy getting exposed? Interview 7. There are things happening behind.
Diddy, why can't we get anything concrete? All we really have is the hotel hallway beat ass.
That one is in the process. At least,
I don't know.
It's gonna be but hold months. On. He's in jail. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of lawsuits. That one is like, we're going to find out. Yeah. Jamie Foxx just recently said that P. Diddy poisoned him.
Whoa.
And that's why he got that stroke.
I've heard that.
He talked about it on stage.
He said it?
He said it.
He got poisoned?
He said it.
He goes, I didn't have a heart attack because of the vaccine. It was Diddy shutting me up.
See if we can find that, because he said it on stage.
Diddy was poisoning people?
Bro, I think there was some crazy shit going on.
Like Cosby shit? Like drugging?
Diddy wasn't even that big. It was could do it.
There's alleged murders. A bunch of people that got pneumonia. A bunch of convenient people that died of pneumonia. Jamie Foxx addresses whether Diddy was responsible for his 2023 hospitalization while filming Netflix special. Holy shit.
Jamie Foxx has a
Netflix special.
Do they not care about at all stand-up?
Jamie Foxx is hilarious. Audience members, hold on, go back.
I see him at clubs all the time, working out his bits.
What is that share slide?
I only respect
Look
grinders.
at this. The audience members had varying accounts of the comedian's words. 2 of them claimed that Foxx said Diddy was responsible.
He lost his contract with Diageo. His whole world fell apart. Could Diageo have had a role in Diddy getting exposed? There are things happening behind closed doors that will decide how this trial ends. It's not a coincidence that everyone close to Diddy was disappearing when it suited him. The same people who got rid of Diddy's enemies might now be coming after him. Jamie Foxx said that Diddy poisoned him, and this shows the industry is much darker than we ever thought. Recently, on an episode of The Joe Rogan Experience, Joe talked about the allegations against Diddy. Diddy has turned down the plea deal offered by the feds.
The last hearing before Sean Combs' trial starts. When he walked into federal court today, he appeared to be looking for his family. They've pretty much been at all of the hearings that I've been to, but there was no presence of his sons or his mother or his sister who had previously been at those hearings. So here's what came out of today's hearing. Number one, the government acknowledged that they offered Combs a plea deal. Combs acknowledged he has no interest in taking that. They're going to move forward with the trial. They also talked about the jury selection process, which one legal expert I spoke to said is probably probably the most important thing that you want to pay close attention to before the actual trial starts. And thirdly, we learned that Combs will be adding 2 new attorneys to his defense team. And just to recap, Combs, who is 55 years old, could spend the rest of his life behind bars if convicted on sex trafficking and racketeering. He has pleaded not guilty to all charges.
Major developments tonight involving the case against Sean Diddy Combs, what he decided in court today, and what this now means, the move coming just 4 days before his trial is set to begin. Here's Aaron Katursky.
Tonight, Sean Combs makes it official. He's rejecting the government's offer to plead guilty and spare himself the possibility of a prolonged term in prison. When asked if he turned down the offer, Combs answered, "Yes, I do, Your Honor," as he stood in a baggy beige jail uniform. Terms were not disclosed, but prosecutors did say a plea could result in a shorter sentence for Combs than if he's convicted. The decision guarantees Combs will face trial beginning just 4 days from now that will test whether one of music's most prolific figures used his power, wealth, and fame to sexually exploit both women and men for decades. Combs has pleaded not guilty to racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution charges that accused him of coercing alleged victims into prolonged, drug-fueled sexual activity that he called freak-offs and threatening them into silence.
Dawn Richards has the deal meant Diddy would admit guilt to sex trafficking, racketeering, forced prostitution, and drug charges. He would have gotten a shorter sentence, but it looks like that won't happen now. If Diddy goes down, he will take everyone with him. Jay-Z, TD Jake, Usher, and even Clive Davis could all end up in jail if they are on the tapes taken from Diddy's Miami Mansion interview 10. Dawn Richards also testified against Diddy, saying he sexually abused her and violently beat Cassie in front of her. Richards described several times when Diddy was violent. She said one happened at a Central Park concert where she saw Diddy punch Cassie in the face with his fist. Richards joined Diddy's group, Dirty Money, after Danity Kane broke up. On the stand, she told jurors that in 2009, at Diddy's loss, Angela's home, she saw him hit Cassie with a skillet full of eggs. Richards said Diddy came downstairs asking about his phone, then threw Cassie to the ground and tried to kick her. Cassie fell and curled up, trying to protect herself. Richards added that besides hitting Cassie with the skillet, Diddy put his arm around her neck and took her upstairs. Then glass broke. Richards said, "I was scared for her. I was scared to do anything." Richards' testimony comes 8 months after she sued Diddy, accusing him of years of horrible working conditions, including groping, assault, and false imprisonment. The lawsuit, filed in September and reported by E! News, said Diddy often held meetings wearing only his underwear, even though Richards asked him to put on clothes. She also said Diddy made her strip down to her underwear, insulted her body, came into her dressing room without warning while she was naked, and touched her without permission, saying it was to show the stylist what to do. Gene Deal has supported these claims too. Diddy groomed Cassie, starting to date her when she was just 19 and he was almost 40. Slowly, Diddy controlled everything in Cassie's life: her clothes, her food, her job, and even her family. If Cassie didn't obey him, Diddy would hurt her and take away her job and home.
Young girl who wanted to be a star, who wanted all her dreams that she had to come true, and fed her drugs, fed her pills, fed her alcohol, and fed her mushrooms and things that she never took before to F her mind up, and then put her in a position that she thought that what little that she had, that she didn't want to lose it. If you didn't think that he did something and did that to her, bruh, I gotta say something wrong with you.
Every time someone tried to help Cassie, Diddy would step in. Even now, victim number 3, a woman named Gina, has disappeared. Gina was going to testify about the abuse, but now she's missing.
And whenever these trials come about, the closer you get to the trial date, a lot of things start happening to remove people from the case that are going to strengthen the case for the prosecution. And I feel like we're watching that take place now with one of the male sex worker guys who provided tapes to the feds. He's disappeared. And this is similar to what happened in the Tory Lanez case, where the bodyguard whose DNA was on the weapon, he disappeared. So I expect to see a lot of strange things take place. I expect to see the defense team do a lot of steps to lighten the image of Combs, and we've been watching that take place.
From what you know about him, Sean Combs, obviously the perception of him has changed dramatically since these allegations were made and since he got charged. I mean, from everything we're seeing now, he seems a very unpleasant, nasty, violent piece of work. Is that a correct assessment?
The assessment is going to be correct. So what I've learned is whenever you see a gentleman like this from affluence and power, whenever they have an addiction to MDMA or the drug ecstasy, they call it the love drug. So he's been doing this drug for over 20 years. So that's going to lead his view skewed when it comes to sexual activity. I believe it's helped turn him into a sexual deviant.
These allegations are truly disturbing, and they paint a horrible picture of what happens in Hollywood once the curtain closes. Behind the fame and the money lies a disgusting world where people are abused, violated, and discarded when they aren't useful anymore.
Now, here's Fox. Go ahead, Rob.
What jurors heard today were tales of appalling physical abuse by Sean Combs as prosecutors portrayed him as a monster who controlled people and plied them with drugs, threats, money, brandishing guns during these on-camera sexual performances that he liked to call freak-offs. And in fact, jurors were shown for the first time today that horrifying videotape. Combs brutally beating, kicking, and dragging his then-girlfriend. And then a male escort took the witness stand, and he talked about how he saw firsthand that same young woman repeatedly battered by the defendant, who then tried to bribe a hotel security guard with a stack of cash to get rid of the evidence. In opening statements, what struck me was how the defense attorney openly admitted that her client committed domestic violence, but then tried to argue, well, that's not sex trafficking for which he's charged. Technically, yes, but it is an underlying crime in the racketeering case against him, which includes kidnapping, arson, sex crimes, bribery, obstruction, all part of this alleged criminal enterprise run by Sean Combs. His attorney also admitted to the jury that her client's conduct is, quote unquote, indefensible, and that he may be a sexual deviant, but that doesn't make him a criminal, which strikes me as not a terribly great defense. Are going to be arguing, and they said this to the jury, that the alleged female victims, and there are a lot of them, are all motivated to lie out of greed because they filed lawsuits against Combs for money damages. Well, that is a typical defense tactic, but it is dangerous, it is perilous. Jurors might perceive it as the law
thrown away when they are no longer useful. Interview 13. Week. By week, the Diddy trial is revealing a side of Hollywood that many wanted to stay hidden. From megachurch pastors to music legends to billion-dollar CEOs, names keep coming up and people are trying to run. Let us know in the comments, do you think this is the start of a big Hollywood purge or just another famous scapegoat? Like this video if you watched till the end, subscribe for more exclusive updates, and hit the bell so you don't miss what happens next.